There's been quite a number of crises, whether it's dealing with, as I mentioned before, death of a student, whether it's also a death of a teacher. We've had issues where there have been board members of community districts that have passed, and the crisis team was absolutely amazing. They brought some calmness to a building of grieving students, grieving parents, grieving community members, and grieving staff members and administration. We're able to come in and speak directly with staff, debrief staff, speak directly with students, work collaboratively with groups of kids to do things to make them feel better about what has happened, whether it was students dealing with the initial reaction of what had just happened, whether it be a death of a student or death of a teacher, or whether it was something that just triggered emotions from something that had happened in their past. They were available and willing to do whatever it took to help our staff and our building get back on its feet.
The training I would recommend. All of us think that we have the knowledge, the expertise to handle situations, but it's interesting. I've been in the business 35 years. This is my 35th year. I've seen a lot in those years. Nothing like this. This is the first incident that I've seen actually in my building. We've had them at the high school, in that years that I've been here, but you think, I know how to handle this. Went to college, have a master's degree, but there are things obviously that change over time with situations like this and how to handle them. And these people have the training and the knowledge to help us. And being open-minded, listening to them, and following their advice was very helpful.
The time when we needed the crisis team here at Bay Middle School was back in February of this past year, 2008, when one of my colleagues and dear friends became gravely ill. My teammates and I went to the hospital to try to greet her in time before she passed, but we were too late. And our administration, one of our administrators was there, our assistant principal, and she met us. And as she arrived, the moment she arrived, we said to her, we need to call in the crisis team because we really need support come Monday morning. The crisis team was phenomenal. They came in, we had an emergency staff meeting that morning, and they were there ready to help us, to answer any questions throughout the day. People were coming around, checking in on us. We had several colleagues who had to leave the classroom, and staffing was provided, and it was just really good to know that if we were upset or we needed a little break, we had the support that we needed.
Agency, being involved in the school district, crises are occurring often. And one that I can think of particularly is when a student committed suicide. Having that program in place allowed for all of us to have an opportunity to dispatch a group of people who came in and were really skilled, and we could step back and allow them to really implement the skills that I knew that, based off of the training that I had received, would be wonderful. And to reassure our staff, superintendent, and the principals that these people know what they're doing. And this allowed us to have an opportunity to work directly with the family.
Well, about 2 weeks after I completed the training, we were called on a call out to a school. And I volunteered to go. I was able to go that day. And being new and the first time out, I thought I would be paired up with someone who had experience. But because of the number of students and the number of people that they needed there, I ended up being paired up with someone who had completed the training with me. And we were both new. So we were paired up, and we went into the elementary school classroom and followed the program, just like we were trained, step by step, and it worked. And although we were a little bit nervous in the beginning, by the time we got to the third classroom, it flowed a lot easier for us, and we found that the way that it's set up, if you follow it step by step, it makes a difference in those kids' lives. I would recommend the training to all school districts, actually, because there was about 20 of us that were called to that particular school district. And we didn't know each other, but we all knew the program. And so everybody got the same benefit. And to be able to go to a different school district, pick up and follow the process and help out those students is very rewarding and very important too. And to have a team that can come to your school district is also beneficial. And you need to grow in order for those teams to be available.